So we have the new U.S. President, Joe Biden, who has spent his first day in office reversing some of the most criticized policy actions of the outgone President Donald Trump, from climate change to visa restrictions, travel restrictions on some countries. My colleague Andrew Schmertz joins us now from New York, where he's keeping one permanent eye on what's going on in Washington. Good afternoon. President Biden's first full day in office signed several executive orders impacting businesses. What are they?
Good afternoon. President Biden is off and running when it comes to reversing many of the Trump administration's policies, first with executive orders and also going to be introducing new stimulus money legislation, the third stimulus round for the United States because of the pandemic. We'll start with the executive orders. President Biden signing an executive order to re-enter the Paris Climate Accords. Those accords were withdrawn by President Trump. Trump had asserted that they were biased against the United States. They call for a reduction of greenhouse emissions over the next number of years. Biden has re-entered them, though it's going to take a little bit of time for that to become effective because he has to go to the United Nations and the UN has to basically certify that. He is also speeding up COVID vaccine distribution and other COVID-related items regarding the PPP. That's the personal protective equipment, masks and gowns, for example. He is using the Defense Production Act. That act allows the federal government to compel companies to make certain products in a national emergency. This is a national emergency. So he's taking those two actions which directly impact many businesses. As far as the stimulus plan goes, he wants a pretty robust third round of stimulus money. First, $1,400 checks for most individuals. Remember, the checks that most people received at the end of the year were $600 with the push for $2,000. So this would close that gap. He is also increasing aid for the unemployment, increasing the moratorium on evictions, and a proposal to raise the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour. Many of those proposals are getting significant pushback in Congress because of the price tag associated with them. They're getting pushback from Republicans. Of course, Democrats now control the Senate and the House. In the Senate, they have a 50-50 tie, but Vice President Harris would break any ties. So that's the plan that Biden has outlined for the next, couple of months to get the economy going.
So talking about the economy, we have the jobless claim showing a modest decline. What are the numbers and what do they tell?
Yeah, the weekly jobless numbers came in, and for the week ending last week, they totaled 900,000. So that's a slight improvement. Economists had expected a number around 940,000. I say this every week, however. First, the weekly jobless numbers don't mean a whole lot standing on their own. You have to take a bunch of those weeks together to kind of get an idea where the labor market is going. The second point I want to make again is that economists have been wrong week after week after week regarding these numbers. And I think that's an impact of the virus and the pandemic and how that has spread across the country and the lockdowns, the letting up of lockdowns, sort of the hodgepodge impact that we've taken across the country. So it's very hard to get a good grasp on that. However, continuing claims continue to rise. They came in at 5.05 million. So we do have a labor problem in the economy, and that is something that President Biden is going to have to address.
Yes, it will have to address that. In the meantime, United Airlines is reporting a bigger than expected loss for the fourth quarter of last year. Is that what we would expect from the airlines?